We have low light today because these studio lights are hot, and I only have one on instead of the usual three. So it's like my computer says it's 78 degrees in here. I'm about to die. I just want you to know. I had a ceiling fan on, and it's just the heat is going, ha 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 ha. You think that's going to do something? Ha 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 ha. That's how I feel. But anyway, we have a funny show tonight. Our show, you guys, it's just gonna be on Saturday. I'm sorry, just I'm still hurting from therapy, so I don't full of Tylenol and some other painkiller. So if I slur my words slightly, it's because of that. I have not been drinking or anything, but I was in agony. It just was ridiculous. So, but at the end of it, he promises I'll have full range use of my arm again. So I'm gonna just bear with it and suffer through. So the last show will be on Friday, October 1st for this season. So you guys continue to send in your memes and things. This is the information. Let's see, where is there? Here it is. Where you send in the memes and comments and things that you see online that are either posted by Dusties or that are dragging Dusties. Either one is fine. We take them all. If you have any doubts about whether we can use it or not, don't worry about that part. Just go on and email it in to survivingdating@gmail.com. Make the subject line DNN or Dusty News. They go into the same folder. And then, we review them all, and then we pick, I don't know, I think about 50 or 60 images for each show. So we use a lot of content. So, just keep sending them in. And any that we don't use, we'll save them and use them for the first couple of shows next summer. So that's how it goes before you guys start sending stuff in. So let me get rid of this and load up the slideshow. Here we go. Now, keep in mind, if those of you haven't been here before, this show is not intellectual at all. This show is about dusty men and women. We talk about the stuff that they have posted online, which exposes their dustiness, or by other people who are commenting on some dusty behaviors of friends, family, coworkers, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a mix of comments, but all of it has to do with people who are making dusty comments, dusty choices, and exhibiting dusty behavior. So that's why it's called Dusty News. Here we go. Oh, I already told you all of that. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to hit 30,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And it seems like it's pretty doable. So everybody hit the subscribe button and share a link to any video that you like. There's like 1,500 videos on the channel now on every topic that you can imagine. So there should be something that you can share amongst your friends or your social media pages. Okay, Dusty. Look at this wig. Like, what in the world? Okay, so I'm at Walmart and I took a dollar tag off of something random and I used it to ring up everything I had at the self checkout. Look at that smile. That'll get you arrested, though. I read in the news where they were cracking down on people who were doing that. Evidently, this is a thing. And even people who were innocent who did scan something, but the machine, was bringing the wrong price up or something. I mean, there was some issues. Unless the people had a receipt to show that they actually paid for it, the stores were pressing charges. So this attorney was on, and she was advising that if people had, a lot of expensive stuff, they're checking out expensive things, not to go through the self check, go through the regular checkout, where they'll be responsible for if something is rung up incorrectly or not at all, versus you being responsible. So I just thought I would throw that in there because that was a thing. I saw it on somebody's news. Okay, this one we're gonna have to talk about a little bit. We got to talk about this level of dusty thinking right here. Okay, so dude was telling a friend about his life story about how he and his siblings struggled when their multi-millionaire father kicked the mother and the kids out. The friend, who's the one who's telling the story, his takeaway from the whole experience was that his mother should have endured the abuse and mistreatment for their sake because the father was a millionaire. And so, she's noted male children are interesting. So in his mind, it was more important for him to grow up in a lap of luxury than that his mother be, beaten half to death regularly. That was his focus. Not that his father was wrong for beating the mama, not that his father was wrong for kicking the mother and the kids out. I could see if he got rid of her, but what about the kids? Why do they have to suffer? He got rid of everybody. And then, was evidently was not really paying proper child support because they wouldn't have been suffering. There wouldn't have been a lack where he felt he was lacking to where he would have lamented the fact that his father was a multimillionaire. You get what I'm going with that? They would have had, one of them puffy child support payments of $10,000, $20,000 a month, and then it wouldn't have been a big deal. The kids wouldn't have suffered. So this attitude here, where he cared more about his comfort than his mother being abused, was interesting to me. Another thing, somebody sent me a link. I think that was Vanna. Could have been Diana. Anyway, they send me stuff. And so I saw this video, and this couple and their children had evidently gotten evicted from their apartment. So they were going to stay with the mom, the girl, the wife's mother. And she said her daughter and her grandchildren could stay, but the husband had to go somewhere else. He wasn't going to be there. And people were, there was like, they were trying to argue with the dude was trying to argue the mother down, like, why can't I be here? And, I want to be, why they get to stay and I don't. And it's like, what? It's the same kind of attitude here. You should be happy that your children and your woman have a warm, dry, safe place to stay and some food. You a man, make it happen, make the magic happen. Go to a shelter, go to a friend's house, do whatever you need to do. But to be mad that the mother-in-law doesn't want to feed and put a roof over your head when you eat as much as 3 kids put together, because you don't have no money, otherwise you wouldn't have been evicted, right? You don't have no money. So they would have been expecting her to take care of them until they could, quote, get back on their feet. And she said, absolutely not. And I fully agree with her. No grown man should think he's going to move into an older woman's house and live there for free. Fuck out of here. So people were debating it. So anyway, that bothered me that he was actually spent, the video was like 10 minutes long, arguing with this woman about why he should be able to stay in her house and eat and live there for free. So I was looking at that woman like, don't you understand what kind of dust mite you married? What man does not hustle and do everything possible to make sure his kids and his wife are not evicted from their home? I don't care what you have to do, what kind of job you have to take. You don't sit around waiting for the job. You take any job to make some money to keep throughout everybody with their own home. But he didn't do that. So I was like, wow, you married a Dusty. I hope you understand. So here we go. Here's the next Dusty, next dustiness. So here's the lady, and she's a little plump. She's a little plump. And so she's like, honey, how do I look with her new blue dress on? And he says, to tell you the truth, your butt is getting really big. It's bigger than the barbecue grill. So then later that evening, he's like, honey, want to fool around? Looking all happy and hopeful, like somebody want to touch his behind. And she just staring at the ceiling, right? Just like stone face, resting bitch face. And so then he's like, well, what's wrong? And she says, do you really think I'm going to fire up this big ass grill for one little weenie? That's a problem. Hey, everybody, I just clicked over to the chat screen. I forgot to do that earlier. Oh, Leandra's here. And hey, Lily. Hey, Ash. Honey. Silver Screen is here, I see. Oh, there's a name I haven't seen before. Somebody 012. Well, anyway, welcome, everybody. I try to tell guys, it just doesn't really seem to sink in. I mean, I know this is a cartoon, but I'm talking about in real life. They do stupid stuff like this. And I try to tell, okay, you got a woman and you want her to be happy because you want her to put out, right? You want her to have loving, warm, romantic attraction to you. You want her to look at you and just be like, ooh, look at that. That's all mine. Let me get some of that. Okay, that's what you want. But when you say stupid stuff like that, you turn her off. So I tell men, okay, before you open that stupid trap in front of your face, that pie hole where you shove things and shit, put your foot so to shut yourself up, think about, okay, if I say this thing to her, is that going to turn her on or is it going to turn her off? If they took 10 seconds to think before they said dumb shit, it would so save so many relationships. So men would have just so much more booty. They would have women who grinned at them and was all over them and wanted to be next to them and touch them and cook their special dishes and do all kind of stuff for them because she was happy. She's like, oh, he's so sweet to me. He says wonderful things to me and it makes me feel good. Nope, that's not what they do. They don't do that. They say the dumbest shit. And then you sit there and you look at them and just wonder, why their mother didn't abort them. That's what you'd be wondering. You'd be wondering why, when they went away and it was in the service, they didn't get landmined. You wonder why, when they was in the car accident last year, they survived. You wonder stuff like that because you'd be looking at them with this real evil face. Y'all know the face I'm talking about. That real evil face, and be like, why are you breathing? Why are you still alive? Why? Why are you here just ruining my life? And so when women say that enough times, at one point, then they decide they don't want to be with you ruining their life, and then they get a divorce. And then the next thing you know, they be online, dudes be online complaining. She left me. She took my kids and my money, all 52 cents of my change. She took it. When all they had to do to save that themselves from that situation is go whoop, or only say nice things. So I thought that was just really interesting. I just want to add that in there. Y'all know it's true. You know the face I'm talking about, that face that we make, or else you keep this part straight and you give them the side eye like, ooh, I just wish I had a weapon in my hand right about now. You just be wishing all kind of mayhem on them. Oh, you saw that video, Carmen? Wasn't that a hot mess? I had to watch it twice. The first time I was just like, trying to get the story. The second time I listened to it, I listened for the whining of his voice, the demanding, the entitlement, and then the daughter, how she was like, but why can't he stay though? Asking her mother. See, if it was my daughter, I would have said, okay, you ask me that one more time. You and your nappy-headed kids and your raggedy ass, loser ass, broke ass, can't keep his family in the house, waste of time husband, all y'all can get the fuck out. Now, see, that would have been me. But the mother was trying to, provide a place for her grandchildren. I understand her mentality, but I don't have that mentality. I like, if I said no, and this is my money, you're gonna be on my wallet. I have the distinct pleasure of deciding who I will spend my time and money on. It's not gonna be him. So you don't like that, and he said he want to keep his family together. Then all you gotta get the fuck out. Then you could be together outdoors, in the park, in a homeless shelter. I don't care where you go, but you're not gonna be here. And that's what my daughter would have got. And so I know my daughter would have been like, well, honey, you better just leave. Because she said no. She wouldn't have asked me like that girl kept asking her mother. And I was just sitting up there waiting for the mother to start cussing everybody out. And I don't know, she didn't. I just was like, wow, you've gotten good at it. Get it, girl. That's what I'm saying. My protege, silver screen over there. That's what I feel like. It's like I have to hurt some man's feelings every day, or it's just not a good day. And it's usually two or three of them because the way they come at you, they come at you all crazy, and then I light them up right quick, and then they go away. But it's like, you know what? You could have just went away in the first place. Why did we have to go through this exercise? You said something stupid, and you saw the expression on my face. You knew what was coming, and yet you persisted. So you got lit up right quick. So that happens, like, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. I don't know what to say. Oh, okay, so here we go. Some begging man. I just want you back. I just want you back. I just feel like my other half is missing. I have your makeup remover wipes here and one of your thongs. You can just keep them. I mean, they those items have already been replaced. Let your next broad use them. Keep them there for them. I don't know what. Try to use any excuse. You know, you left a box of toothpicks. You left a tube of toothpaste. Yes, honey. And then we're about to run into this because about the New Year's resolutions about to start being made. Got a couple of months, but people gonna start thinking about what they want to make their resolution be in around November. They start thinking about as we hit the holiday season. People start trying to think about, okay, I'm gonna only eat and gain 10 pounds, and then on the 1st of January, I'm gonna go on this diet. My clients, I used to see it all the time. So yeah, there we go. If I don't have some cake soon, I might die. Oh, yeah, I don't make any resolutions. I don't even bother. I mean, I did when I was a kid. I resolved I'm going to get straight A's, or I don't know, I'm going to clean my room without mommy having to yell at me, or I don't know, little stuff like that. I'll be nice to my brothers. But then as you get older, you start trying to make, serious ones. And it's like, I don't be bothered with that because I already know I'm not going to do it. So I don't know what happened to the first part. This is the only part I got. So evidently, dude texted, right? And so her response is, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I know people use this excuse all the time, but I actually did lose my phone. Ask Hillary, and just got a new one. Who is this?" So, dude, oh, you realize you said the exact same thing to me last time, right? Okay, now for the light bulb moment, my brother. If you know that a girl used that kind of excuse to get away, not respond to you, please tell me why you would put yourself in that predicament again. Why would you do that? Don't you recognize when somebody's blowing you off and don't want to talk to you? I mean, what? People do lose their phones. I've lost mine. I lost mine at a farmer's market. I don't know what happened. But anyway, these people found it. And then they started calling people through. And then one of my, the people in my phone lived not too far. And she came over and she's like, "Girl, did you lose your phone?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't find it." And she said, "Oh, these people here, call this number and they have your phone." So I called them and they gave me the address. I went over and I picked it up. At most, like if you have, you have insurance on your phone, right? They send you another one, or you just go down to the phone store and you get you another one. So, and then we all have backups of our contacts and stuff like that on the web, on the server, or at least on your own computer. So this excuse, if you really know how this technology works, is jive. So for a man to put himself in a position to have to hear that twice, you're dumb. You hella stupid. And so you deserve to get clowned because you did that to yourself. You nobody should have to tell you more than one time that they don't want you, that they're not interested. One time, once. I'm just saying, because when people say that somebody used that excuse on them, I just be looking at them and like, and you believe that? You fell for that. Well, yeah, because I'm like, oh, you stupid. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know what he said to girlfriend, because you know how they be in reverse order. And this is all I was sent. You see, it's kind of cut off there. But she gonna respond with her. She gonna read, dude. I'm a single mother, and I genuinely believe that y'all need to stop pushing this stupid, pathetic ass narrative. Father's Day is to celebrate the men who actually raise and love their kids. A woman cannot play the role of a father, vice versa. Blah blah blah. Okay. So, dude, just sum things right up for her because it's like, ain't nobody trying to hear all that. I tell women all the time, y'all be exerting all way too much energy trying to check people. I mean, it's like, and you explain and educate people on stuff. My thing is, I should be able to put your ass in checkmate in 3 sentences or less. I'm not gonna spend all day. I'm not gonna be writing paragraphs of stuff. We're not gonna do that. You're gonna say some egregious, crazy shit, and I'm gonna light you up real quick, and then close out like I did with that post on the the community wall where the dude was talking about I was on the KS show or something. He accused me of being on that show for clout, and I was like, "What? I've never. I don't even know what this can't have. What you call it? Channel? How to find it? I've never been on it. I don't look. I don't go on those channels. That whole manosphere thing. They're dead to me. They don't exist. I pay them no mind. I don't go on their channel. They don't come on mine. And we just mutually agree to stay away from each other, and it works out very well. So when somebody finds a way over here to complain about me allegedly being on one of their shows, I'm like, you are confused. You got me really seriously mixed up with somebody else. So dude over, he was just summing things up for her, and he did one sentence and shut her down. It's like, I'm just trying to get some coochie. That's it. At least he was honest. Okay, this dummy here. When I say I love nature girls, he meant natural, I guess, that don't wear makeup. This is what I'm talking about. This girl got on so much makeup, it's not even funny. You can see the highlighter going down her nose and under her eyes, the contouring around her lips, the contouring on her cheeks and forehead, the eyelashes, fake. Do you think people's eyelashes actually look like that? The eyeliner that she got on, and she done did her brows, and I mean, all the stuff, foundation, because it's a different color than what is on her chest. So obviously, she wearing some foundation. I mean, she got the full makeup on her, but it looks nice and it looks halfway natural, kind of. That's why I say halfway. But he thinking that she don't have on none. I'm like, wow, you don't have any sisters, or there's no women in his life that wear makeup, obviously, because he just totally clueless. I thought that was funny. She has it's called soft glam. Oh, okay. He learned something. But yeah, he just thinking that's like no makeup at all. Shoot, look at me in the morning when I wake up. That's no makeup, and it scare you. Now this was interesting. We got a couple of these in from this artist or whoever this person is, and it was like in the main frame, they show you the image of what the world sees, what the woman sees, what her perception of reality is, or your perception of reality. And then in the second half, in the hidden side of the next frame, they show you the real story. And I thought, now this is real interesting. I think we got about 4 or 5 of these in. I only used 2 of them. I've saved the rest for next week. But the concept was unique. I really liked how this was done. So, you see it looks all romantic. They're in Paris. He done took her shopping. They got all these brand name designer bags and all this stuff going on. And, it's all romantic and stuff. But what they really have is living beyond their means in a lot of debt. I thought, wow. That's the same thing you see people that be living like in the hood and stuff, or I mean, they might have, living in some little apartment or whatever, and they be driving some, $40,000, $50,000 car, paying $600, $700 a month for a car note. I'm like, why are you doing that? You should be saving and buy yourself some property. What are you putting it all in a vehicle for? That makes no sense to me. But you see that all a lot. Well, yeah, you compare your life, but I mean, even in the way that she's thinking her life is. You see what I mean? She's thinking that this man is doing all this stuff for her, and that he's living that life, and he's able to provide like that. But what he's really doing is running up every credit card he ever had. Like, wow, this is deep. There's the second one. So like she looks nice, right? The soft glam look in effect on the left hand side of the frame. They look like a loving couple. They're sitting there. And then you see the black eye, the choke marks on her neck, the mouth is all busted up, domestic violence. But that's how it is, the appearance, the outward appearance. And this situation, a lot of women do hide it. I don't know why. I mean, are they embarrassed or they're afraid? I don't, it's probably different in every situation, but they hide it. And so to the world, it looks like they have a nice marriage and a nice husband and, a nice family, but behind closed doors, they getting their ass kicked, sometimes every week. I'm like, man, you got one time. One. I just can't do it. I don't know. It's like we just have a violent family. My cousin, she actually pulled a knife on her husband and she was about to cut his butt open. He called the police on her because he was scared she was going to attack him. But he was messing with her kids. Like his son was messing with her son, and her son is special needs. So even though he might have a body of an adult, his mind is like a 12-year-old or less, maybe 10, 11, something like that. So your 35, 40-year-old son is going to be trying to mess with this little teenager with special needs. My cousin lost her she said, girl, I would have went to prison happily if he had laid his hands on my son. So it was one of them kind of situations. So, sometimes stuff happens behind closed doors. I mean, they one time, but it would have been the one time too many for dude. So, yeah, she broke up with him because she said, oh, hell to the no. Now, this was interesting. This because, so many women think that they have to earn a man, that they have to do all these tricks to keep him. And this stuff is promoted online by those male channels that, you have to bring what you bring into the table and what you doing for me. That's pimp mentality, ladies. You don't go along with that. Any guy who comes at you like that, you don't say nothing to him except click or block. That's the next thing communication he should be getting from you. No words, no explanation, no trying to step up there and prove how you so different from other women and you could do. That's what they want you to do. You see, because the women who are really not understanding the game are the ones who will step up and try to compete with other women, thinking they need to prove that they're better for him than anybody else. You don't prove shit to a man. His job is to prove to you. Y'all got the game twisted. You seriously have let some pimpy man get in your head and tell you that's the way that it is. You don't prove shit to a man. Nothing. Nothing. That's his job to prove to you why you should pick him. Y'all, and I can't even say that it's the women who grew up without a dad because some of the dads was dusty and, taught their daughters that because they was doing that to the girl's mother. But the bottom line is that's a man's role, okay? The Bible don't say the woman that finds a husband finds a good thing. What does the Bible say, y'all who study it? So that means that the woman is the prize. The woman is the chosen one according to your God Almighty and every other religion. So those who run around talking about they're Christian, they believe in the Lord and they're God-fearing men and all this kind of stuff. Where you get off with this switch up, with trying to run this pimp game on women. And y'all throwing your asses up in church all the time. You ought to know that. You don't prove shit to a man. You don't do nothing for a man. You don't help a man. That's his job. He got to do that. Okay? I have to say this so many shows because it's like we have new people that come through and they act like it's the first time they ever heard it. Maybe it is. But, go back. If you're a student of the Bible, your scriptures, read through them. It does not say that you earn a man. He's supposed to prove that he's a man for you. Okay? Stay woke. When you meet her parents and her mama says, oh, so you're the one who's been dropping her off late night in that black car, but you ride a bike. Busted. Girlfriend. But maybe that's not her man. That's just somebody she's kicking it with, right? She's doing the pair to pair dating program. But he was under the misconception that he was the only one. So live and learn, young lad. Live and learn. Okay, so she starts at the top and she's explaining, she says, my brother and his girlfriend were together for 7 years. She came home one day and told him, I'm attracted to a man at my job. We haven't done anything yet, but I want to see where it's going to go with him. Thank you for the wonderful years. And she said that the nigga said that rather than cheated, that he was happy that she told him, okay, that she did it that way. But then she goes back and says, but this nigga got 2 new kids and a girlfriend, and he's still talking about it to this day. I done told y'all they never get over it. They never get over whoever their first love is. They never get over it, ever. They will still talk about it when they in the nursing home. Still talking about that girl that broke their heart when they were 17 or 21 or 27 or whatever it was. Whoever was the first real love, not just the first like or, the first baby mama that was an accident. I'm not talking about them people. I'm talking the one that he really loved. Okay, whoever that is, whatever age that happened when he was young, they still talk about it. They still reference it and they still whine about it 30, 40, 50 years later. And then they want to say that they the toughest, they the most leaders and the toughest gender. Please. This was cold. Now, when you read Dude's post, this is his post that he made after his little girlfriend took a bullet that was actually meant for him. Okay, she died. This is what he has to say about it. So he's talking about himself, a little narcissist, obviously. Grateful for all the continuous support and the condolences and prayers. I also want to send out condolences on my behalf to Bree's family and my sincerest apologies. Last but not least, I want to thank God for another opportunity at life and for keeping stable my mental status. I can't wait to be back to being able to do things I love, especially my music. At Bree, whatever, whatever. Love you always. On behalf of me and the entire team at his music company, thank you again. Do you notice how much of it was about himself? I thought, wow, if I was her parents, I would be so pissed that my daughter died because of this dusty fool. In the poster was like, well, sorry it happened, but glad it wasn't me. That pretty much is his general demeanor. Oh, yeah, and that's something? Dusty, capital D. Thank God for another opportunity at life and for keeping my mental status stable. So whoever accidentally shot her, I don't know if they got caught. You know about it much about it as me, unless you live in this area and know something else. But um, chances are the person's gonna come back to finish the job. So, dude, you don't need to be being too excited. So she's like, "What you doing?" No, I guess he said, "What you doing?" Right? Or yeah. And then I found out that you screwed my friend with a smiley face. Why would you smile about that though? LOL. But I asked, "What you doing?" So the poster says, don't ever text a man this. These are not conversations to have on the phone. You got to see him in person because this could easily result in a block. Go to his job. Why would you go to his job? Why would you do that? See, isn't me? I wouldn't demean myself with this conversation. It's like, are you, so you screwed her. Well, that's the last time you got anything to do with me. You're not going to talk to me. You're not coming to my house. We're not looking at each other. And I wish I had known this before because I don't do sloppy seconds. I'm not going to be being one of the people that's, where Duke can walk away talking about, yeah, I did this with her sister and her auntie and her best friend and her cousin and then her neighbor. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Oh, yeah, super block. Super block. But yeah, but the fact that she even brought it up to him, don't ever do that. I mean, unless you married and you need to go see a lawyer and get your half and alimony and child support and something like that, well, then you might have to go down there. But you just dating somebody, you just kicking it with them. You don't really have that level of commitment and involved in legal entanglements and whatnot. What who gives a shit? Just send him packing. What is all of this? And you see, he dodged the question anyway. He's not trying to answer that question. So I never understood why women do this to themselves. That face, though. Your total is $123.67. Would you like to donate $1 to charity? And me, like, yee. You know that's how. Look at all that money in his hand. Would you like to donate one of them to charity? No. He about to make it rain on some people with them dollar bills. Okay, this was funny. This was funny. So Dylan says, I need the person who made this meme to come forward. You know how everybody, we got a couple of these because it's like people going crazy about white people, going crazy about the mermaid thing, the Ariel person being black. And they're like, mermaids can't be black. Excuse you. There's no such thing as a mermaid. It could be red with pink polka dots. It don't matter. It's a fantasy creature, okay? Let's come on back down to earth, y'all tripping. But what this person did was superimpose the original Karen meme. This was the Lake Merritt here in Oakland. Karen that got everything started. She's called the Oakland Police Department on some people that were barbecuing at Lake Merritt in an area where it's okay to do that and trying to regulate on these people and tell them that they couldn't be there and stuff. This is the lady right here. And they done put a snorkel and a mask on her and stuff. But the picture that's all over the internet that she's on the phone. And that's what this is. She reporting on Ariel for being black in the movie. I was like, oh my God. Who thought of this? It was very clever, I thought. But it's dusty all the same. And then, they talk about stuff that can't be black. It's like, well, else can't be black. Ariel can't be black. Well, bro, who the fuck is this? Blue eyes and blonde haired Egyptians? For real. You seriously. And those aren't fantasy creatures. Those are real people. And they don't have blue eyes and they don't have blonde hair and they don't have fair skin like this. They're all brown in that region of the world. But folks gonna take some shit and rewrite history. So they asked, what's the worst date that you've ever been on? Trill Jackson, what's the worst date you've ever been on? And this girl says that she paid for her own birthday dinner. She paid for her own birthday dinner. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty bad date. Now, okay, I hope she was trying to be funny. I hope she was just, as they say, joshing. So she says, I never judged female corrections officer for sleeping with the inmates. That honestly seems like the only benefit besides having to pay to work in there truthfully. How is that a benefit? To sleeping with some disease-carrying criminals, violent criminals, stupid criminals because they was too dumb to not get caught. Why is that a benefit or a perk? So she up there, she put that laughing face, like I said, that makes you wonder. I hope she was joking or she just laughing because so many women do it. And then they lose their jobs and get sued by the state and all kind of stuff be going on. Because they be smuggling in drugs for them and other contraband. It's just, and I'm like, ain't no D that good. You tripping seriously. I don't understand how some of you girls will date men. Okay, you dating these hood rats and these lowly educated individuals, and do you want to date men who will ask you stuff like, "Why are you using big words?" And the words will be stuff like inconspicuous and adjacent. That's sad. When I was in high school, we had a little cousin used to stay with us. How old was she? I think she was 3. Yeah, because she was a baby. Oh, yeah, because she couldn't have been any older than 3. And when you're in high school, you have to do vocabulary words every week, right? So I used to T-shirt some of my vocabulary words. So we would take her out and she wants you to do something right, and she would be pulling out them words, and people would just be like eyes bucked out. I'll never forget one time she wanted. I took her to the park, and so like the whole family was there, but I took her over to like they had a little kiddie swings area, and so she wanted to play with this little kid, and the little kid was like doing all this kind of stuff here like little kids would do, and so my little cousin put her hands up like this and she said, "Why won't you cooperate with me?" And everybody was like. But she had learned that word from me, and I had to learn to spell it and the whole thing. But it was just so funny to hear it. Two and a half, 3 year old say something like that. It was hilarious. But you got somebody who's not 3, more like 33, and that's a big word to them. That's scary. She's making a post about online dating. The apps, the swipey things, stuff that I don't have anything to do with. But this part, I think is right based on everything everybody says. If he says that he's 6 feet tall in the ad, that means he's 5'9", 2'5", 11". I would say, yeah, that's probably about right. If he says he's 6'2", he's 6 feet. If he says he's 5'8", you may as well tie a helium balloon to his wrist so you can find him more easily when you're out in public, because that man is anywhere between Peter Dinklage. Is that the guy who played in the Game of Thrones? That guy, and 5'6". He says he's 5'8". It's true, Silver Screen. I kind of thought, because I know this woman always talking about how they lie about their height, they lie about their age, they lie about the fact that they don't have no kids when they do. They lie about the fact that they have a wife when they don't have a wife when they do. Stuff like that. Okay, here we go with somebody else who needs some help with their vocab. What's your diversity? He asks. And she's like, well, what do you mean? He says, like, well, you got this whole Pocahontas thing going on. It's sexy as fuck. But yeah, bruh, you mean ethnicity? Please, y'all, please stay in school. Please, let's do that. Okay, now, Miss Dior has dusty tendencies. She has a cape of dust and she thinks she's superwoman or something. So this is her post. The nigga you love may be in a fucked up predicament in life just off of how he was raised or what he's used to or just because he made bad choices. Okay. This shit part of life. That don't mean you leave or give up. Notice how she's spelling these things. Notice the part when you say you truly love him, you got to build him up. Help him become more than a street nigga. Nowadays, y'all got this ride or die shit all wrong. It's not about being a gangster female. It's about being there through good and bad. If you see potential in him, motivate him to be the best man. But if it's like real love, like you say, you should at least try with him. Notice the likes. Notice the shares. Notice how many women are stupid enough to waste their time doing this, trying to raise some grown man, some other woman's son, like he's their child. I wish I fucking would. I'm not doing that shit. First of all, if you a street nigga, I'm going to leave you where I found you. Okay? I'm not, no. Secondly, I don't look at men's potential. Past the age of 16, high school, okay, once they graduate from high school and enter college, there you go. That's it. You finish that little stint right there, that's the end of your potential. You're either on the path to developing it or you on the path to nowhere. Let's see what you're doing. Because the dudes that have potential that want to use it are on the path to, they're showing you what they're going to do. You don't have to look for it and try to build them up and take this imaginary potential that you see and make it into something. He's doing that. He's like, well, yeah, I'm not there yet, but I'm doing this, and this here. I'm in school. I'm taking this other class here. I went to enrolled in this vocational training. I talked to this man here who's going to mentor me. I got my stuff. I'm rolling. That's a man that you can kind of roll with. But even that's kind of risky because you never know if he's going to really, if his train is going to derail. But you have to make this on an individual basis. But a guy who's just talking and then he depends on you to come in there and create his whole future for him, a whole platform that you gonna build for him, fuck out of here doing that shit. You will crash and burn waiting for me to do it. I'm not gonna be ride or die for nobody, and I don't suggest that you do either. Ride and die for your damn selves, ladies. Ride and die for yourself, your kids if you have any. But for a grown man, no. They need to do that for themselves. What is this with black women always wanting to take care of these men like they're kids? It drives me crazy. And then you be mad that a whole generation of men act like little spoiled brats, little entitled babies. This is the generation of men. You cannot treat a grown man like this. You got to let him fall and bump his head. He needs to fail. And then he needs to rise up and make the magic happen. You standing in the way, holding his hand like he's a baby, doing everything for him. He's never going to be a man. Never. He's never going to be anything but a loser, depending on women to do everything for his ass. Don't do this. This little girl here is so confused. I just wish I could reach out to her and tell her, look, you got this shit twisted. You're all on the wrong path here, chick, thinking that's what you need to do for a man. How can you call a man if you got to do all this stuff for him like a baby? Only thing you're not doing is feeding him and changing his diaper. How to avoid stress at work. Solution number 1, don't go to work. The Dusty monologue. Work stresses them out, so what do? They don't go to work. They live off of you. Pink Panther cartoons. Those used to be popular when I was a kid. I haven't seen any or even heard of anything about that lately. Guess it went out of style. Yes, because you're dusty. Some of y'all are the reason why people ask, well, who all over there? Have you been guilty of that? Who all over there? Who coming? Who on the guest list? You want to know those kinds of things. So you want to know if it's going to be something that you should go to or should avoid like a plague. Because some people they bring the drama. The drama follows them everywhere they go like a shadow. And if they in the house, you don't want to be there. I even have relatives like that. I'll be like, oh no, so-and-so coming? I'm not going to be there. And this is very true. This becomes this issue where you have to accept people for the way that they are. Don't keep ignoring what you see. Don't pretend it is something else or, that they're going to magically change and all this kind of stuff. You can't blame a clown for acting like a clown. Instead, you need to ask yourself why you keep going to the circus. It's for women who keep picking Dusties. He had dusty tendencies when you met him. He came at you in a dusty way. He lied or something. Very soon after you met him, he exhibited dusty traits, dusty tendencies, dusty behaviors. And you, in your haste to have a relationship, you don't want to pay attention to it, and you feel like, oh, well, he'll change. I asked him not to do that anymore. The fact that he did it in the first place and he's a grown man tells you that's his character. You don't ask grown men not to do something. If they do it, that's who and what they are, then you just put them in the wind. I'm telling you, past high school, maybe early college years, they don't change. They don't change. So you go up there asking him, well, you need to change. He might put it on a little act for a minute, but he's going to revert to true form and show you his clown, his inner clown. And then you're going to act all surprised. Following our clown theme. So this young lady, she says, as a married woman, do you think your salary should be paid into your husband's account? Into your husband's account. Notice she did not say a joint account. Into your husband's account. So that means the only one who's getting control over her money is the husband. Did you catch that? Okay. She did not say joint. That's not what she said. Your husband's account. That means it's his account with his name on it. So then Bree comes back and she says, as a clown, do you put on the big red nose before or after the giant shoes? She just clown girlfriend and told her she was stupid without actually using the words. Look at Dude's face. Dude had a crush on her till she messaged back with her misspelling and phonetically spelled words. I can't wait to see you next week. And he's like, damn. I don't know what's wrong with her, Nerly. I'll tell you, I looked at that. I wasted so much time looking at that one and reread, not the clown one, but the one before. Rereading it and saying, what in the world happened to this little girl? Who messed her up that made her think that this is how she would have to conduct herself in a relationship and that she would have to settle for a man who is this lost and spend her time and energy building him up and believing in him? And so, what about you? Who's believing in it and supporting you and building you up, girlfriend, while you doing all this for all these men? Because you know it's not just one. You know, she ain't said her husband. So do we talking about a mere boyfriend? Or would she probably have several where she would do all that pouring into before she finds one that marries her, or if she even does and goes through her life as many black women do, 30, 40 years of pouring into one man after another, and so they get about 50 years old and have nothing to show for it except for a few random kids. Don't treat yourself that way. Now this was funny. He's like, if I've been cheating for 3 months and you ain't figured it out, I'm breaking up with you because I can't be in a relationship with a dumbass. I thought, wow, that's a really interesting perspective. That's what we call dusty logic. So I'm going to cheat on you and mess up the relationship completely, but then I'm going to blame it on you for being too stupid to figure out that I'm cheating on you and do something about it. That's essentially what he's saying. It's your fault that he's been cheating for 3 months and you didn't say nothing. That's your fault. And so he's going to break up with you for that. I was like, wow. These dudes are kind of special. You know, and they always crying online. They always crying about child support. You know, dudes, if you don't want to pay child support, keep your dick in your pants. It's real simple. I mean, you can't make a baby if your stuff is locked behind your zipper. Doesn't happen. But see, when you like, you want to be free and you want to be doing stuff without protection and risking disease and pregnancy. And then, so you young dude, you all fertile and ripe, and the little girl is all fertile and ripe. And then you be playing that Russian roulette with your stuff. Is it shooting a live round, blank? Is there anything? What's happening here? What's happening? And so then you shoot a live round, and then something happens, and then you want to be acting all brand new and surprising, be mad that you have to pay child support, but you did that to yourself. Why are you mad at her? You did that. Nobody forced you. You willingly deposited that over there. And you did everything it takes to make a baby. Then you want to be acting all Pikachu face when one pops out. I never could understand that. It's like they know the birds and the bees. They know enough about it to be trying to get busy, but they want to act all surprised when the kid comes. And so then, and this is a follow-up to that, they want to cry about what happens with that little $100 child support that they pay a month. Because they ain't making no money. So, what if it became mandatory for all child support cases to be put into a trust fund that only the child could cash out at 18? Well, that does sound good in theory, but you realize the term child support means it's money that's supposed to be taking care of supporting the child. Child support is when you provide things like food, medication, shelter, books, clothes, shoes, the vital things that kids need. Coats, heat in the winter, lights to do their homework, paper, pens, stuff like that. They need those kinds of things. They don't need cable, but they do need these other things. They need food. Especially they start growing, they even need a lot of food. So support is there for the kid as the child grows up, right? By the time they're 18, they're an adult. They don't need child support then. They needed it when they were 5 and 7 and 11 and 13 and 16. That's when they needed it. So, I mean, in theory, this sounds good, and it probably made them all feel like they was, come up with some brilliant idea, standing around thumping their chest like gorillas and, hoo-hawing each other and bigging up each other and stuff. But in reality, that's a stupid idea, and it will provide no benefits to the child for you to do it that way. So the kid's supposed to starve, and if it vote and pray it makes it to 18, still alive? That's what you're saying. You sound like a fool. Operation Black Marriages. Oh, he posted it to their page. They should have blocked and deleted his silly vine. Lord, this misbuilt chick right here. He said, these be the chicks that won't let you talk to their friends. They be clock blocking. I wouldn't know because, I don't be messing around with women, but, I've had clients that look like that. It was just hard. Serious challenges to get them. Yeah, the Pikachu face. You know that face? They be making that face. Yeah, won't let you talk to their friend. They like, no, 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 no. Oh, look at that with the turtleneck and the glasses. Oh my God. How niggas look when they go to court for a gun charge? Looking like a professor. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, Dusty baby daddy time. Nick Cannon Jr. Future Jr. My 7th child got to be her first. Now, this person explained how y'all be wasting all your money trying to make your house, your crib look good, allegedly for some man. Then y'all spend all that money decorating your bedroom, and the dude still picked the chick that got the mattress on the floor. Yep. I don't know why they do that. Maybe because they feel like her standards would be lower. I was trying to, come up with a concept for why this happens so often. Y'all might have some ideas. But yeah, this does happen a lot. The woman who's got herself together, got a nice place and all stuff. I don't know, maybe she's intimidating or threatening and some. I'm not really sure. I'm sure you, like I said, you probably have your own ideas on it. But this is like they're comfortable with this level of, mediocrity. They're more comfortable with that. This sister here this chick, she was just savage. She said this man was 30 minutes late to our date, so I made him stand in the corner. And look at him. He in the corner too like he's 5. You don't let men in your bedroom? I don't blame you. You putting skid marks on your sheets and stuff. Nasty asses. So she said she was accidentally talking to herself in public. And then she heard this man standing her next to her say, they be fine as hell, but they be on them drugs. I can't say I've ever accidentally talked to myself in public or any place else. I mean, the conversation's in my head, but nobody else would hear it. That's funny. Yeah, see, she stayed. That was when too. Maybe you get it out for 10 minutes, like a restaurant. Your reservation is only for 10 minutes. Now, this young lady, she has this concept that a lot of women have, where they want to slide the man the money under the table, or they give him her credit card, or you know what I mean. They usually slide in the cash so that when the waitress comes and pulls it out, it'll look like he's paying for the meal. So it'll look like he's taking her out, but really she's taking herself and him out. And so she's promoting that. So even if you are paying, that you should always give the man the money beforehand, and that way he can pay for the date. No, he's not paying. He's using your money. He's just giving the waitress your money from his hand, but it's still your money. It's still your credit card. Like, people not gonna notice the name on there, for real. And she just says that this is basic. This is literally just basic manners. No, the basic manners is that you go out with a man who's got some damn money to pay for the date he's supposed to be taking you out on. If I'm taking somebody out, like, that might be for graduation, or um, graduated from some master's program or some PhD, MBA, or you got a big promotion at your job, and we, kicking it like that, or I don't know, your birthday or something, then I might take them out for some little, Mickey Mouse something. Usually I do drinks, but let's just say I did take them out for more than drinks. Then I'm paying. I'm gonna slap my card down there, and that's just gonna be that. I'm not gonna be worried about his ego. It's like, if your ego was that fragile, then you should have said you wasn't gonna go, or you didn't want me to take you out. And so, no, let's just have something at home. But if you say yes to the invite to go out, and I'm gonna pay, and then you want to act funny style and say, "Well, give me the money," so, oh, hell to the no. That's not gonna happen. So this one, she says, nobody in the world gets madder and more upset than the dude who has been accused of something that he definitely did. That's right. They want to stomp their feet around and raise their voice and be just going crazy. And it's like, you kind of protest this a little bit too much, home skeleto. Home skeleto. You're doing a bit too much here. So, yeah, I agree with this sentiment here. Okay, ladies, do you do stuff like this? Do you do stuff like this? You ask your man stupid questions. Like, when you get home from a long day at work and your wife asks if you'd still love her if she was a lamp. Oh, sorry, I was rolling. Look at dude's face. It's a scam, I say. Oh, they bring out stuff from 4 years. Yeah, see, I think, I have like there's a time limit, statute of limitations. You have 1 week. I don't care what it is. After 1 week, it's null and void. It never happened. Okay, if you didn't bring it up within that 1 week, don't be trying to bring it up talking about months or years later. That's not gonna work. I don't know them. Them surveillance tapes have been erased. I don't know what you're talking about, and neither do you. Just too much. She probably has a mattress on the floor. Look at this kid screaming. When your boyfriend leaves you in the car with his son from a previous relationship, I want to pitch that little motherfucker out the window. Like, don't you take your kid with you? But I don't know. I don't think I could be with a man whose kid was that young from his quote prior relationship. You know what I mean? I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Was that Ben Affleck? I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't look that close. He back with Jennifer. I knew that was his real love and hers too. So they back together. He seemed to finally be happy. Poor dude. Now this dude, okay, Dusty promoting that other Dusties go to their kids' school to get their swerve on. How trifling can you be? This is an area full of kids, and you're gonna be trying to promote all these men to come to the school simply to hit on the single moms. This is so raggedy. So he says, I don't think a lot of men understand how important this is. Fellas, please take and pick your kids up from school. It'd be so many hoes up there. What about your wife? Oh, your baby mama that's at your house. I mean, I don't have a problem with men picking their kids up and taking them to school, but not for this purpose. So I thought, oh my God, this is just so seriously. Well, he was, but he got treatment. After he got back with Jennifer, with Jennifer Lopez, he stopped drinking, is the reports. He was only an alcoholic because he was wanting to be with her instead of Jennifer Garner. Dude was miserable, unhappy. That happens. People try to drink or, drug their misery away. Why they use DJ like that? Man, toxic man, stay up, I'll call you. And her, staying up, bags under her eyes, waiting for him to call. Please. I have my phone automatically rolled over to DND at 9:33 p.m. every night. If you ain't called me by 9:33, well 9:32, and we in the call on the call when the 9:33 hits, it goes to voicemail. It don't even ring the phone. And I did that so I could start winding down. Because a lot of times people call, and they want to talk about something that's upsetting to them. And, these are your friends and stuff, people that you care about. My shoulder's killing me. They're people you care about, so you're hearing this. And I tend to absorb their anxiety. So I have to cut that off at a certain time so I can wind down and still go to sleep. Otherwise, I'm up all night, with the anxiety I absorb from them. And they feeling good now. They sleep, but I'm just, all wired up for sound because of what they said. So I had to do that to protect myself. Okay. If men were honest, this is what they would say. What do you look for in a relationship? She asks, all sweet. And he says, a kind, caring female who's way out of my league that'll love me unconditionally and make up for a lifetime of emotional baggage and failures. Yeah, not going to happen. That is what they want, though. Anytime some man starts talking about he wants unconditional love, you get that from your mama, son. You don't get that from a wife or girlfriend. Their love is going to have conditions on it. Yep, sure is. The only person who might not have any is your mom. So that's what you want. You better go over there and get it from her. This poor dude, look at that, all that big old check. If you think you're having a bad day, Dan, age 21, split with his girlfriend a day before her family won 61.7 mil. Everyone, including her sister's boyfriend, got 12 million. A boyfriend, I wouldn't have gave his ass no. He might have got 100,000, but I'm not married to you. I'm not giving you none of my cut. You tripping? Yeah, but he lost out, poor thing. Is this true, ladies? It says that women be single for so long that you get mad when somebody starts liking you. That does have a ring of truth to it. Not that you get mad, but they start trying to put demands on you because they want something from you, right? And, they want you to make time for them and spend time looking at them and talking to them and all that stuff. Okay, that might be okay sometimes, but you want too much. You try to be in my face too much. And it's nice that you like me that much and stuff. No, don't get me wrong. But people have to ease into this stuff when they used to be by themselves. You can't just go from 0 to 100. You got to 10, 15, 20, like ease her into it. But they don't do it that way. And so, it gets to the point where you feel like they're getting on your nerve. You don't want to be bothered. Okay, look at dude's eye. If you ain't lying, then look me dead in my eyes and tell me. And dude looking her dead in her eyes. I ain't cheat. I ain't cheat. I thought that was funny. And I thought that it seemed like I had done this before a couple of years ago, maybe one of the first DNNs, but I don't remember. But I remember seeing this, but I don't remember if we actually put it on the slide, but here it is. So again, back on the child support. They just cannot let child support go. You think somebody's going to travel internationally, plane, hotel, all stuff, off of your little Mickey Mouse ass child support, plus still have enough for the kid? No, you bum. They obviously don't have any idea how much it costs for plane tickets and stuff. That chump change that you send, that ain't nothing. That's not doing nothing. Her job is what's paying for, or her side hustles is what's paying for her travel. It don't have nothing to do with you. I saw they acting like they paying child support like Puff Daddy or somebody. to show him you're not complacent. This is another one of those prove to him, what you bring to the table type of things. Look at the first one. I'm not going to say anything, but, serving up stuff. When he get off of work, slide him a few hundred of your money. Support his goals and dreams spiritually and financially. And cook for him or learn to. Notice the motive here. Okay, so like I said, with a lot of these things, it's designed to brainwash you into thinking that this is normal, that these expectations or demands are okay. None of this is okay. I mean, I know a lot of women who like to do this kind of stuff, but could I, in good conscience, advise that young ladies do it? Absolutely not. When you're grown, you're going to do what you want to do. But, it shouldn't feel, these, like the favors in the upper left-hand corner, that shouldn't be anything that you feel obligated to do. It should be something simply that you want to do when you want to do it, but not that you are obligated to do it without him having to ask. Any kind of activity between these two should be mutual consent, not feeling obligated or as a demand. Should you give men money? Absolutely not. Should you support his dreams and goals and spiritually and financially? Nope. I mean, if you're married, you might, but it's community property and community money anyway, so half of what he's feeling like you giving him is from his pocket anyway, so. And then cooking and stuff. Everybody, all adults should know how to cook because you should know how to make yourself a healthy and nutritious meal. Or 2 or 5 or whatever. You should be able to do that. Now, why they think you should be cooking for him all the damn time? No. I know how to cook. You need to learn too, clown. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of no's there. Like, oh, you look so unapproachable, they say. Isn't it funny how they do that? They come up to you, I really wasn't going to say nothing to you because you look unapproachable. And yet here you are, all up in my face and all up in my space. But I was unapproachable. You need to get you a new line, chump. That one is played the fuck out. Oh, I don't know how y'all do it. I'm just talking about it is making me itch. They get on my nerves so much. She's right, too. They're going to argue for 45 minutes about nothing. About sports and who had the most home runs in what season, on what team, and who got, just endless stupid stuff they remember. That don't mean shit. It's not going to make nobody no money. It's not going to make nobody feel better. Nothing. Just a bunch of garbage. And they're going to argue about it, talk over each other, and practically want to go to blows. But if the girl that they're seeing now, had their kids or whatnot, says that if she says one thing, that they don't like, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to argue with you. I ain't got time to be fighting with you. I ain't got time for this. Yeah, we're right, because you're too busy spending all your time with your men friends. So who are you really trying to date here, sir? Oh, to see again with the child support. It just never ends. We have so many meetings about them complaining about child support. It's not funny. So now they're going to bring Jesus in as their wingman. So if I'm the only, again, the white Jesus, if I'm the only man you need, take your baby daddy off of child support, which is not spelled correctly, by the way. Just notice that. Support. Hey, what's up? I'm eating you. Wishing that message had no punctuation. What? Oh, it never stops. The innuendo just never ceases. Always something about they dick. So here we go with the Savage Award winners. These are like the runner-ups. And then we have, I think there's 2 finalists, two gold trophy winners of the evening. So here we go. So summing things up on Ariel, I don't know why y'all are fighting over with racists over Ariel's race. Just hit them with their favorite line. Why are you bringing race into this? You know, that's one of the first things they want to do. As a black person, you know it's about race. But the white people always want to say, well, why are you trying making it everything about race? You're bringing race into it. And then they hit you with this, So she say followed up with, well, maybe she was the best person who auditioned, because they say that too. When black people, brown people complain about, lack of diversity, or maybe they were just the best person who auditioned, right? Because they don't want to concede the fact that racism would definitely have a role there, right? And then close out with the banger. Well, not everything is about race. Because who's the one complaining? So I thought, well, that was a nice little flip around she did. Just did the whole reverse Uno on them. I thought, oh, get it. And what are your intentions? What are your intentions? I'm going to ask a young man that. Well, I'm going to talk to you for a little bit and get you to fall for me and meet your family, use you, waste your time, ghost you, and then make you feel like you did something wrong. The narcissist script. Bam, right there. The narcissist playbook in summary. I was like, wow. The drop her off at work when her car starter kit. Oh. The wife beater, the blunt, the blaggy shorts, and your Nike flip flops with socks. I thought, wow, this is so true though. Because he dropping off and he ain't going nowhere. He don't have no job. You the one that's going. So you give him the keys to your car to drive around and play all day. I wish I would. Boy, you better be using them mopeds and get you a bus pass and make it happen. I'm paying this note. I'm taking my car. Okay. She say she done messing with these old sugar daddies. So I had to wake Mr. Johnson up and tell him to get up and go pee. And she's like, Pound, I hate it here. Oh, see, I can't do old men. I'm old myself and I still can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Dude was the. This is it right here. Ain't no such thing as a gold digger. Women are naturally expensive. So just pick one in your price range, bruh, and shut the hell up. He's right. You don't have dime piece money. So don't complain because they go after men that do have dime piece money. You have, I don't know, five money. So that's what you're going to get. Because the women, they going with the men who's on their level. You ain't there. And even if you ugly like Jay-Z still got 10 level money. So it levels the playing field. I don't know what they be thinking. I was like, oops. Oops. He said, during whoopee, you can burn off as many calories as running 8 miles. And she says, like, well, correction, home skillet, who the hell runs 8 miles in 30 seconds? Oh, savage. And look at his face. That was savage. And she just like, yeah. When you tell her that you're not ready for a relationship and she finds someone who is, and you just be like, oh, wait, what? What? Yeah. It's like, ooh. And she's like, okay, what you supposed to do? Oh, my shoulder's killing me. Okay, don't get hat-fished. Look at that dome. I mean, he's not cute even in the picture with the hat on. But that dome, ooh, that looks like, Alien with the alien. He got that alien thing going on in his head. Oh, that's not cute at all. At all. At all. Yes. He's still a nice looking older dude. You know, he still got his swag walk, I tell you that. But yeah, this is just like, yeesh. What had happened to did? Okay. He treated a black single mother with respect and thereby violated one of the 10 conignants. Conignants. Not commandments, conignants. And I'm like, oh, this is just such an interesting play on words. Yeah, he right though. I was like, wow, this was brilliant. I would have never thought of that one. Girls with self-esteem after 1 week on Tinder, like, yeah, everybody want me. And the average guy self-esteem after 1 week, he on life support. Like, he needs oxygen because he can't breathe. I was screaming. Again, I don't have any personal experiences with these things. I don't do the swipey thing, so I don't know. I never even been on one. I don't even know what it looks like. Okay, this was so cold. Like when you see your ex getting beat up by a group of people, and you think to yourself, maybe I should help. Nah, they got enough people. Cause you think she gonna jump over there and help her ex. She like, nah, I'm gonna give me some too. I was rolling. Nah, they got enough people. At the second one, just right here, driving right on by. I was screaming. So remember to hit the like and subscribe. These are the last two slides of the evening. Okay, the last two slides of the evening. The Savage winner, number 1. Hey, he says. And it's like a recording. You know, you can just hear it in the recording. But the vagina you are trying to reach is no longer in service. I was like, damn, that's just, woo, that's like cutthroat savage. And the second one, she said her sister was arguing with her baby daddy, who happens to be in jail at the moment, on the phone, and she said, I'm not about to argue with a nigga who has a bedtime. I screamed so loud I woke the baby up. And that is the conclude the Dusty News Network show of today. And like I said, we'll probably be on Saturday for another week or two. The October 1st show I do have to do on Friday. I got to get it together. I'm trying to get my therapy moved that week, so it won't be on Friday. So I'll actually have, I won't be sitting up here wincing and jumping around and half dead on the camera. What do we got coming up? Oh, that's right. Tomorrow, be here for the Sunday sermon. Got the Sunday sermon at 4 p.m. We're going to do this show where these 52 black men that are married share their thoughts on why so many black women are single. So they have an opinion of, like I said, I know most of you don't really give a shit, but it still should be interesting fodder for a discussion. Because, I mean, somebody might pick up a hint in there. I mean, because I do know a lot of women do want to get married. Most these days we don't see the value in it, but there are others who, who still want to get married. And then, okay, so that'll be Sunday, that's tomorrow. And then we'll be back on Tuesday with our next What the Fuck Tuesday relationship advice show. You can submit your question. There's information on how to submit a question scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So you can do that. And submit your question. You still got time. I don't think Candace will do the thing. She'll probably finish it up tomorrow or maybe Monday. And then, that's going to be pretty much that. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Keep sending in your stuff. We got a couple more weeks of the DNN to do. But I hope you had a good time and go out and enjoy the rest of your weekend after spending this time here with me. I enjoyed having everybody. Thank you for your participation and your support. Please go out and share a link. And if you have not already, subscribe to the channel, hitting the instant notification bell on your way out. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 4 o'clock.